What's up, guys? It's Andrew here. I wanted to share a passage with you guys and give you some encouragement for this week. So, if you have your Bible near you, go ahead and go to Luke chapter 19 and just verse 1. We're going to read about Zacchaeus. And if you've already heard this story, I encourage you to read it again because I'm going to try to point something out that maybe you haven't heard before and something that's been speaking to me. And if you haven't read this story before, well, you should get your Bible anyways. It's in chapter 19, verse 1. It says, Jesus and Zacchaeus. He entered Jericho and was passing through, and behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was rich, and he was seeking to see who Jesus was. But on account of the crowd, he could not, because he was small in stature. So he ran on ahead and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was about to pass that way. And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay in your house today. So he hurried and came down and received him joyfully. And when they saw it, they all grumbled, He has gone in to be the guest of a man who is a sinner? And Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I restore it fourfold. And Jesus said to him, Today salvation has come to this house, since he is also a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost. Something that stood out to me during that passage when I was reading it the past couple of days is kind of how much I relate to Zacchaeus right now. And if we look at it, looking back, something I didn't notice is that Zacchaeus was a very isolated person. He did not have a lot of friends, and he wasn't isolated because of a pandemic or because of viruses going around. He's mainly isolated just because people didn't really like him, and he wasn't a good dude. But even though his circumstance was different, the isolation that we're facing is the same. No matter what the circumstances is, he was isolated, and so am I right now. And something I didn't realize was how much I can relate to that kind of feeling. Right, is just kind of being alone, or maybe you got your family in your house, but still you're not going out and we're not doing the same things we normally are. But I think the coolest thing about this is that even though Zacchaeus was isolated and by himself, the greatest thing he did was he welcomed Jesus into his home. And that was a big encouragement for me, is that even though we're in a time of quarantine or self-isolation, that we can still welcome Jesus into our home and let him transform us here. We don't just have to be at Living Water for Jesus to transform us. He can transform us right in our home right now. And you can see the fruit of that in the next half of the passage, is that when Jesus comes into his home, Zacchaeus walks out of his home a different man. And that would be my encouragement for you guys, is to really, really get in contact with the Lord and welcome him in, literally welcome him into your home through your Bible and through prayer, and see how faithful God is to the same kind of faithful that he was to Zacchaeus, that when you come out, when you come out of your house and when this is all over, that you're going to be a different person because of what Jesus did during it. And so that'd be my encouragement for you guys. And I really, if you didn't read this passage during this video, you should go do it now, and keep reading. It's really good, and let the Lord transform you. Anyways, love you guys. Miss you. I'll see you tonight if Wesley puts this video up in time. I'll see you guys tonight at 6:30.